Hello and welcome to our presentation. My name is Monique and along with Zach, Cade, Cooper and Savas, I will be presenting key details of our construction management plan for Balmain East Ferry Wharf. The existing Balmain East Ferry Wharf in Sydney Harbour is being upgraded as part of Transport for New South Wales' $770 million Transport Access Program. Their goal is to integrate more modern and accessible wharf infrastructure facilities into their transport program to provide a better service to all customers. The new wharf has been designed to be accessible in compliance with the Disability Discrimination Act 1992. It will be a dual berthing wharf built further out to sea than the existing wharf. Risk can result in project failure if not managed effectively. Therefore, a risk management plan will need to be implemented. This plan aims to identify, analyse and evaluate potential risks with the aid of a risk scoring method. The following risk matrix will be used to score each risk out of a maximum of 25 points. It assesses likelihood of event occurring against the impact level of the risk. The higher the scoring, the higher the risk of a negative outcome. A risk register was developed for the project using the risk matrix scoring method, an extract of which is shown. Adverse traffic and environmental impacts received a high score, as did unsafe work practices on site.
Some environmental concerns include the flow of dust and sediment into the ocean or other areas. Solutions to this include using core logs, sediment fences, and possibly hosing any soil piles that would be a cause of contamination. These overall help to keep the local seawall a suitable habitat for aquatic animals and keep an environmentally friendly worksite.
Now to discuss the site management of Balmain East Ferry Wharf. Work boundaries will stop at the foreshore of Thornton Park and Darling Street, but a small part of Darling Street will be used as a temporary site compound, and part of Thornton Park will be used as a material storage space. A minimum of a 15-metre exclusion zone will be established around the wharf works on the water, and as there is a bus stop just outside the construction site, the workspace was minimised to allow buses adequate room to do U-turns and other manoeuvres. Major site considerations for this project is that there is a lack of parking spaces located near the construction site. Workers will be required to find street parking, and material will be delivered by barges where possible to avoid material transfer in the busy surrounding suburbs of the Balmain East Ferry Wharf, and heavy machinery will be limited to use of the middle of the day. This will limit noise disturbances made to the community, and portable toilets, amenities and a small office block will be established in the site compound. The major stakeholders for this project include Transport for New South Wales, Inner West City Council, Sydney Ferries, Environmental Protection Agency, residents and ferry users, and the local Aboriginal Land Council. Major stakeholders will be informed of construction progress by face-to-face meetings and Zoom meetings. Stakeholders who have low influence on the project will be informed through the Transport for New South Wales website. On site, the project manager will look after the site supervisor and engineers, and also human resources, while the site supervisors and engineers will look after the health, safety and environmental officers and other workers without managerial positions.
The ferry wharf will be closed for 6 months from the 1st of November. Construction works will take place at the wharf and an off-site manufacturing facility. There are 5 key stages. Stage 1 is the removal of the redundant wharf. Stage 2 is the construction of 16 concrete piles that will be drilled and hammered into the seabed. Night works will be required because piles need to be hammered when the water is calm. Afterwards, the piles are levelled, welded and filled with concrete. Stage 3 is construction of the fixed ramp and the prefabrication of the floating pontoon and gangway structure. 3 truckloads will be required to pour the slab for the ramp, while the pontoon and gangway are constructed off-site. Stage 4 is the installation of the floating pontoon and gangway using barge-mounted cranes to lift the structure into place. Stage 5 is the final fit-out, installing the glass, flooring, lights and safety features.
Now we'll be discussing the costing for the new Balmain East Ferry Wharf. Firstly, I'll be talking about the week-by-week costing of the project, with the average cost per week totaling to $159,842.69. The most expensive weeks for the project will be during the pile boring period, as it involves extra costs for night work, and during our concrete material purchase for our pontoon slab structure and gangways, which occur after the pile boring period. Our least expensive weeks were week 1 and week 26 at $40,307.50 and $32,276.50, which were our establishing and finalization weeks of the project. For the material costing of the project, we elected to have a 30% leeway on material cost calculated from our volume of concrete needed at a set price. This price was considered to be $300 per cubic meter of concrete. For our 2 gangways and main structure, we needed 704 cubic meters of concrete, with the estimation cost coming to a total of $211,200. Adding our additional leeway of 30% for extra materials came to a total of $274,560. The major costs that the project encountered were hiring a barge for the duration of the project, as the project required work to be done in the harbour, and secondly, an excavator that would be able to help with demolition in the project and would help with construction, with our estimate for the barge being quite generous at $35,000 a week, and using a rate from a hiring company for excavator with a saw blade attachment for $27,837.
Monitoring will be used to evaluate progress against desired standards and benchmarks. Key performance indicators will be used as part of this monitoring process to assess project performance against desired outcomes. Corrective actions will be implemented where necessary to improve performance. Monitoring responsibilities will be distributed amongst the contractor management team, client project management team, hired industry experts, and environmental consultants. The site manager will undertake daily site inspections and provide weekly reports to the contracts manager. They will also be expected to maintain the incident register. The contracts manager will conduct monthly inspections and meet with the client project manager monthly to report project performance. Regular compliance checks will be mandatory. The wharf will need to be fully compliant with AS 1428, Design for Access and Mobility, and AS 4997, Guidelines for the Design of Maritime Structures, before handover can occur.
The project handover occurs between the construction team and Transport for New South Wales. The contract specifies a defect-free, functional and tested asset, along with all operations and maintenance manuals. Technical support and repair queries are listed with various contact numbers, and the training of ferry drivers and Transport for New South Wales staff is included. To optimise the handover, all workers' executed drawings are submitted, and closing workshops along with project reports and evaluations will occur to signify a successful handover.
Our construction management presentation highlights impacts that might happen from the construction activity. During construction, there will be noise, pollution, and heavy machinery. Group 17 will carry out the tasks with the least disruption as possible.